Guru Rana Mendra Lakane Yadaya Mi Sanje Chedan Soje Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Jesu Dagi Chijin Jive Sonan Ji Adrola Benje Sanje Druva Sanje Chedan Soje Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Jesu Je Dagi Chijin Jive Sonan Ji Adrola Druva Sho Sanje Chedan Soje Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Jesu Je Dagi Chijin Jive Ji Sanje Druva Sheo Ladang Lamen Bidam Yanji Yang Boda Jajin Lazo Sheji Jala Chava Chavana Sanje Sumbara Du Shijin Diveji Teta Cheche Tembe Chenye Dine Dire Shire Tega Jajin Direnje Savite Jura Tenje Sheba Dana Chodo Tajun Goa Yin Dia La Benyan Jasin Tajun Sajun Mende Ambidane Leva Tula Tube Sonye Je Namala Yugadan Lutan Nishin Tubumandana Yugananda Akunjetan Tamje Kedo Dagi Chedo Kangang Owa Denjun among Omeba Nidusun Ishi Nime Sameja Bemete La Chaza Lo O Nasota Asota Ta Lavin Dudenala Shiro Sami Tini Tavi Mi Sibizawa Tune Jimbilam Surab Gulang Abe and Daddy Dimu Missy Demi Choto Ta Teta Chene Tande Kawa Yilandi Beba to make it about that. Say that's soon going better. Takua. Oh, yeah. Lovely do doing an alarm. Shadow Sami Tini time me, Shadow Samo. That Tini is not Tekonani. Or some Tekonani that time me. And he shared up Sami Tini time me. Wow. Oh, tenderly, somewhat on Bunny. And it's a mute Samuel Telconan to be share of tea. And it's Sipa Dunga Tamjaki. And he called Dunga Tamjaki Zawade. And he didn't see Maripache. Tenderly didn't see Maripatuna Chibi Lam in by Yunzang. Sibisa Watuna Chibi Lam. Yeah.
So there's a verse from the summary of the stages of the path, and it says that the eye, which is the wisdom seeing the profound reality here, profound reality means emptiness, understanding emptiness. That eye which sees the profound reality is able to uproot to completely eradicate the root of existence. Sibitawa the root of existence, which is the root of samsara, the root of all suffering.
Sibitawa Tune Chimbe Lam Sibako Kowagi Ani Zawa Denzing Mariba Ani Tune Chimbe Lam.
This is the path which is able to eradicate or to completely remove this root or base of existence of samsara, all of these sorts of suffering of samsara.
Sura Gula Abi and then Terror Anita, Samo Tombani Tela Anis Asore Sura Gula Abachaba. Kansas Naba Joguare Cherkana Ani Tabata Tamja Chimbu Kombang Toba Cheba de Ani Samo Tomba Ni Unsum to be Ishi Yuki Chesutra. Ishi Yuki Chesutra. Tabata Tamja Chimbu Kombang Toba de Samo Tomba Ni Unsum to be Ishi Yana Ani Tabatoe Tobjuva Samo Tomba Ni Unsum to be Ishi Jimena.
So this is praised in all the scriptures as being the profound path, the path of seeing the profound emptiness is praised in all the scriptures. And the reason it's praised is that it's that with which, if one has it, one is able to achieve omniscience, one is able to achieve omniscience, and if one does not have it, one cannot achieve omniscience.
대마세 아니 바로도 치바 당봉하고 대라 아니 바로도 치바 치바 명 토베데 아니 사모똥님 것은 또 비셔럽지 심베 세나 파지 당봉하라 바로 치바 명 토베 진서 당봉하고 대라 진서 당봉하고 대라 바로 치바 셔와 명 토베 오늘 또 비셔럽지 마세나 진서 당봉소나 바로 치바 명 토베
So it's praised in that way because this perfection of wisdom, which is the vision of the profound emptiness, is that which causes the first five of the perfections to be given the name perfection. That is generosity and so forth. Those are given the name perfection because they are held by this kind of profound wisdom, which this gnosis, which directly realizes emptiness. So it's a treasure which is, or it has the treasure which has the qualities praised in all of the scriptures.
다대마세 대중 권투수와 나신이자님 코이자와 난생 마리바기 뜨무 마리바기 아니 민바 세월 샤바기 아니 되면기 초 로와 돈용 것음도 또비 이시디 연나 텐자와데 탑치자 자춘비 심비 권에 아니 돈용 것음도 또비 이시 권에 권도 패와라 때네 아니 뜨무 마리바기 아니 가소래 지중도 친데 타르면 또 뭐를 받잖아 저바디 또 뭐를 받기 아니 민바 자완에 쳐바디 연구와 연장 또 뭐메세 되면 초도차 또 뭐메세 또 뭐기 민바 세바제기 되면서는 말밀었어요.
So it's also the lamp which dispels all of the darkness. The lamp dispelling all darkness means that this kind of wisdom, which is a direct perception of emptiness, which understands emptiness directly, perfection of wisdom, functions as a lamp to dispel or clear away all of the darkness of the ignorance, which is the confused ignorance. And that works in the following way, that as that wisdom is gradually increases, as it gets more and more powerful, then the force of the darkness of that confused ignorance gradually decreases, gets less and less.
Oh yeah, then it 대달시에 탄도 캐와이 란데 배바투메 개바제 오다 되기 다 타바 된게 가서래 동아 믿어봐 아니 동아라 타바 되베 타바 나라도 동아 란제에서 동아라 가서 믿어봐다 내가 되봐 란제에서 여봐 이제 여와 인장 다 동아 믿대나 아니 동아 탐색이 중공기 시 차와도지기 동아 중공기 시 사전일이 풍부들 돌고 와 말이야. 사전일이 풍부 도와 채발라 사전일이 풍부 지지기 주 내다 녀모니 돌고. 내년 그 자와 태양 아니다 가서래 좀 단지 연락고 공도 생활 나신 전에 단지 연락 중에 나자지 통에 말이 발들라 투바 인상 오다 가서래 이대 자원의 중앙을 채박이 아니 사모동반이 또 배치랍디 아니 탄적이 나죠 배바팀에 개바서 체크구래 세야라 람디 배바팀에 대다시에 탄적 개와이 람디 배바팀에 개바세
So then it's the final part of this verse is an instruction saying that someone who wishes to achieve liberation should make effort at this path. Here, seeing the profound emptiness is that which eradicates, because it eradicates the ignorance which is grasping at things as being established as real, which is the first of the 12 factors of dependent origination. Because it completely gets rid of that, then it's able to eliminate as well that which comes out of that ignorance, and the aggregates and such which are pervaded with suffering, which are of the pervasive nature of suffering. So it's able to eliminate them as well.
차와 두지 그 동안 또 그래. 대도 하나 차와 두지 그 동안 그또 내다 니모니. 내 니모 내 대한 니모를 때는 좋은 자완이 안에 단지 말을 빨아 또 그래. 나 말을 봐 본제대 돈이 무슨 또 비시. 남들 배바 투매 개바지.
So then the pervasive suffering, which is the contaminated aggregates, those arise from karma and the mental afflictions. Those karma and mental afflictions arise from misconceiving things, conceiving things erroneously. The ignorance which grasps at things as being real is the basic ignorance here, which gives rise to those. And so, since this profound path of seeing emptiness is that which is able to eradicate that fundamental ignorance, someone, an intelligent person or wise, intelligent person who wishes to achieve liberation should make effort on this towards this path.
Oh yeah, that is the reason. That's a more than somebody to our chebala, never tell some you down about it. So, tell some you down about our yin zang. That some more than one you turn to. 아니 태양 다 만화와지 그러나 동반님 만화와 아니 가서라 사모동반지 태 만화와지 퇴퇴대 삼배 퇴라 아니 검중근 영화때 되니 영화 퇴대 가라 아니 태관한 영무순도 비셔럽게니 되니 뭐 신도 아니 인생 타락해서 뭐 주와 나시 빵데 아니 주된지 세배 아니 차와도 그 동안 세바 조선 거래
검중기 그래서 검중기 영화
검중기 영화
So the way this works then is that the way one develops this path is through hearing it, thinking about it, and then developing it. So those three have to be done. So first one needs to hear the teachings in unmistaken fashion, such that you gain an unmistaken understanding of the instructions on this profound path. And through hearing them correctly and gaining that kind of understanding of the teachings correctly, then you're in a position, you're able to think about them over and over again, to reflect upon them, such that you gain the understanding that arises from that kind of reflection on the teachings. Then finally, once you've gained that kind of understanding from a repeated reflection on the instructions, then you should cultivate or develop through meditation, cultivate and habituate yourself to this teaching, so that one has an experience that arises from that kind of cultivation. And then finally, that understanding that arises through that kind of development or cultivation is that which from that develops the wisdom which directly realizes emptiness. And then that wisdom that directly realizes emptiness is the agent that is able to eliminate the root of samsara, which in turn will then stop the Koritsawa Marikpa Pana, then Ledan Yun,
Oh, do the any bambe. Do you mon bambe, you more you couldn't lambag leme. Le sebe, and Kazanashi, and then let the table, nearly Pumbus era.
So then when through that kind of wisdom, when you've eliminated the ignorance, which is the root of samsara, then all the karma and the mental afflictions and karma that arise from that ignorance will be stopped. And then in turn, the suffering of the contaminated aggregates that arises from karma and the mental afflictions will be eradicated.
Namde Gaso, Tenet Nendo are mine the Dula Christo Rose. Singwari, Tenet Nendo are mine the Yelenji Pumbote, then and Juju Mewaja Mares, Rikincha Mewaja Mares. Mayimba Karesana, Yel Pumbo Jeji Jutela, Kiguares. Do Karesana, then Lenin Yuote. Lenin Yigan Legis our Numon. Numonte, Suresan Denzin. Denzin de la Kitigi, Lokari Wasana, and Tony Musun to be Sherate. Koni Tindang Yanga. Ani Tony Musun to be Shetela, Captain Sama Yoba. Denzin de la Captain Sama Meba. And Tony Musun to be Lokone Kondo pitch, and your castle, Petty Zamba, Denzin Niva, Cheshan to Dre. Sari Savi Rija Kone Kondo Petty Zamba, Tami Rija, and a Chechun Chetu Chidu Tar Tami Rija Saba Nashi, Jenny. Tony Musun to be Lamju Combat Kone Kondo Pay Gala, and it Denzin, and it castle the Chechun Chetu Tar Denzin dance about Yongo. There is a Galata Denzin law, this about do keep Denzin law, Jana, and a Pumbo de law. Tenitendo on my indi, Gula Kishi Sichros.
Pumpo Ngusu get mare.
Pumputing was a Jenga de Lerva, Lela than a Jigora, Leg General Yumorava, Yumongos, Zawati Tenzirava.
And somebody Pumpo Ngusu Gek.
You're a Chinga de Le,
Ngusu Kiwaching
Lela than Tugu Wakasango.
So there's a verse in the Compendium of Valid Cognition, which also explains how this process works. It says that the verse, to expand on its the meaning that's condensed within it, it says that the aggregates arise from karma and the mental afflictions. Karma is the principal cause, which gives rise to the aggregates, and then karma in turn arises primarily within the mental afflictions. The mental affliction of ignorance is the sort of principal cause for the creation of karma. And then, so this ignorance, which is that sort of principal source for the creation of karma, is the confused type of ignorance which grasps at things as being real, even though they're not actually real. And so the way one eliminates then the contaminated aggregates, which arise from karma and arise from the mental afflictions, is through developing the wisdom which directly realizes emptiness, because that is the counteragent for the confused sort of ignorance which grasps at things as being real. The confused ignorance that grasps at things as being real doesn't have a valid cognition as a sort of support for it. It's not supported by valid cognition. Whereas the wisdom that realizes emptiness directly does have valid cognition as a foundation or support for it. So because those two, the ignorance which grasps at things as being real and the wisdom that understands emptiness directly are contradictories or are contrary to each other, because the object which they apprehend is contradictory, one having something being established as real, the ignorance that is having something being established as real as its conceived object, whereas the wisdom that understands emptiness has emptiness as its conceived object. Since those are contradictory, then the emptiness that, the wisdom that directly realizes emptiness is able to eradicate, to overcome gradually the confused ignorance that grasps that things as being real, and then sort of slowly over time, that kind of a wisdom that understands emptiness is able to remove and sort of gradually remove the confused ignorance, similar to the way that heat is able to overcome cold. Heat can, when heat arises, then it can gradually dispel and remove cold. And that's a similar process to how, an example for this process.
Oh yeah, 근데 인자다 가서 퇴섬 개천부 쇼지래 순과래라. 퇴섬 퇴와다 삼바당 공바선보디 다 윤제 당보 공빙하라 공중공하라 삼중조거에 삼중공하라 퇴중조거에 인자 퇴와 야보지 연락 들었다는 삼중기에 디나 당보 퇴라 때는 수신 일을 쳐봐줘. 수신 일을 쳐봐 공부한다의 시중 전에 주지 잡아 공부하기 도대체가 수화래 디나 당보 수랍지 퇴와라 때는 안에 수랍 그때 삼회기 안에 삼중 수신 일을 쳐봐줘 연구를 안에 수랍 그때 삼중 그 제지 잡아 안에 대라 삼배 퇴인데 양내 양도 뒤와셔봐 그 공중대 고거를 연구를 했어 인상 토마 다 퇴와 가르쳐봐 인상 장고라마 종가와 첨부장 세가 당부 자체 퇴와 만두사 손해야 다 균사대 말이
So this, the way this wisdom arises, then the wisdom that directly realizes emptiness, is as mentioned. It comes out of. It's a kind of wisdom that arises out of the cultivation or development of meditative development of conditioning oneself to it. And that sort of wisdom itself arises out of the wisdom that comes from repeated thinking about the teachings, investigating them, analyzing them, the teachings on emptiness, and that in turn comes about from arises out of the sort of wisdom that is developed through hearing the teachings repeatedly and correctly. And that hearing the teachings is the point of doing that is to develop a correct form of a correct type of judgment about things. And so this is said to be extremely important, and having hearing the teachings correctly so as to form a correct kind of judgment about them. And that's why also this was explained. This explanation is given in the ornament for the sutras by Arya Maitreya, and then also the same point is made in the teachings of the precious Gyawa Tsongkhapa. And he says that therefore in the beginning engage in a great deal of study, of hearing the teachings.
Oh yeah, that said 아니 사모토만이지 퇴와 챤니 아니 돈이 또밤 아니 세대 돈이 마도와 되지 이나양 아니 퇴위 바자되기 체라치마 돈이 떠야 돼. 다 가상 안정하지 롱터만 하시니 전에 로변 파발리 Tini Sheva Kadidri, Yangan Deva Madodan, Jeva Shendu Bemeba, Neva Toju Leshino, Segala, or to Sungare. Carre Sena, Maranzo Chedila, Gewada Migi Village Satona, Bena Givi Village Sazona, Givi Lede, and the Castle. Locktime, Controla Sava, Lotta Soya Majomna, Givi Lede, Ginamide, Sarah Chimala, Namshina, Givi Laginam Jimbata. Migi Village Inayang, Migi Village in Yobotoshi Shaba Majana, Migi Village in Namiji Jaboti, Java Chimali Jinju Tachimari, Lady Sabateta Kansati Jeju Guarde, Roa, Jimba Chachivari, Roa, Tepela Shacha.
So this is, as we mentioned this previously in a verse by the master Aryadeva, and in that it says, he gives an example, and he says that the example of, or the thing which is being discussed here is that even if in this life we hear the teachings on emptiness, but we're not able to realize them in this current lifetime, it's nevertheless definitely the case that in a future life, by the force of the propensities of having heard the teachings in this life, it's definitely the case that in a future life that we will be able to realize and understand correctly emptiness and gain a realization of it. And then the example that is given is that it's just like the way karma works. Karma, whether it's impelled by desire or it's karma of some kind of bad, evil view, these kinds of, or anger, heavy negative karma, once one has created those kind of heavy negative karmas, then it's inevitable that one will have to experience the results of those unless one confesses them and employs the four opponent powers to be able to block their ripening. But if one doesn't do that, then those karmas follow the person into the subsequent lifetimes. And then since they are existing in those subsequent lifetimes, it's definitely the case that at some point those karmas will ripen and give their suffering results. That's the example here.
Oh, that depela shani. Ani chedela tom samotoma nila thosam chede toni tobam. Kade mato jang. Ani samotoma ni thwe phaja simdundu shabade namshine ani samdi shabade kansa khoran ge je jogurede namshine ani samotoma ni Dembergi, I seen it that Ted to Pacha never secret. So you Pacha Sabalet and Samotomba to a younger
Simgi Tingdu? So then the example then illustrates the same thing operates with regard to hearing the profound teachings on emptiness. When we hear these teachings on emptiness, they place a propensity upon our minds, and that propensity which is placed upon our minds is such that it will definitely follow us into the future. It will come after along with us into our future lives. And once we have that kind of propensity upon our minds or within our minds, it's definitely the case that at some future occasion we'll meet with a virtuous friend and be able to hear the teachings again and to realize their meaning.
Oh yeah, that is such a benjagi. Riba number Chiano, City Kava Manjo, Kava Manjo down. Java Chima Joy, Nola Rani Landa Chung, Sungbari. Or River number Chiano, say, got a sunny chitronga in a telling, and that Casore, 나리발라 로전 치고래 답변은 알아서 내 자에는 잘못 동반이 그 퇴상 그 로전 치고래 세대 잘못 동반이 그 퇴한라 세대 안에 퇴삼이 제외 세대 안에 동반이 그 퇴한 내가 뭐 캐와라 마주장 제와 치마 쪼와인 제와 치마 쪼와인 세대 로전 제외 제우대 제와 치마라 아니 그래 봐这看着上，我那让你连打从是让给加垃圾，刚才先把去了把脚下雨呢，俺那开始脚下雨的呢，然后鬼友看到的，俺那开始说呢，加了的连土把那些钱呢，谈的上面推了推往前边留的，俺那叫我起码了，推那些都不得。
So this is also explained in a verse by the master Sakya Pandita. And in that verse, he says that if one studies some inner knowledge, inner kind of knowledge, an example that could be given here is the teachings on the profound emptiness here. So if one studies that kind of inner knowledge, then even if one isn't able to fully comprehend it in the present life, one isn't able to understand it completely within this life. It's like it's like property that has been placed in someone else's safekeeping. If you have some property and you give it to you place it with somebody else who will take care of it for you, then sometime in the future when you need to use that property, you can get it and be able to make use of it. Similar to that, then this effort at investigating and studying, learning these topics such of inner knowledge, of the sort of inner sciences of such as understanding emptiness. That sort of activity will ensure that at some future time you'll be able to make use of that. You'll be able to use it.
Oh yeah, 真正现在当我当做上我当半年了，退化写的开全部，是吧？那退化前的南山写的许多人干了考不的，今那年等到什么，俺那当半年。到他都的，俺那南巴给出他俺们控制也马多哇，他现在平俺们就这样，俺那其他话现在马多哇，我开始送上老庄忙不钱有啊的，俺那冷山多也去干了考不写了的，俺天南星，俺那讲过那么中国全部样，我们啦，俺那开始的平俺们给大瓦让啦光把写钱。아니 평화마게 따와 양신낭체 내세시지 청와당 따동의 도제당 이제 그네가라 평화에 따와 코나 송아마도 탄주 따와 따도 송야 말이야.
So then that's why it's so important then to make effort at hearing these kinds of teachings, hearing and studying them, hearing them and reflecting upon them. This is why it's so important and valuable to do this. But this is not an easy thing to do. It's not something that one can quickly, immediately comprehend. It's very rare for people to have that sort of quick, immediate kind of comprehension of this kind of teachings. To illustrate how difficult this is, we only need to reflect on the fact that even among the Indian masters, there were many who held philosophical views that didn't coincide with this teaching on profound emptiness. And then likewise, the earlier Tibetan masters, there were many of them that did not, in their texts at least, did not present a correct, full comprehension of the teachings on the profound emptiness. And to illustrate this further, even the master who is the protector Manjushri, the incomparable master Tsongkhapa, even in his earlier writings, his writings such as the rosary, golden rosary of good explanations, and also in his praise to the Bodhisattva Sadaparudita, who's the Bodhisattva who is always crying. In those texts, he presents a sort of view which coincides with the erroneous views of the earlier Tibetan scholars.
평안의 따와의 투지의 총체 아니 군디 초난디 간라 셰라년 보송디 셰라년 보던디 간라 셰라년 보송이 간라 아니 셰라년 비테 평안의 따와들라 아니 제주도 냐바 샤난디 간라 아니 띵에잖아 마 잠체 아니 군디 현수 초초나양 아니 띵에 좀 잠데 띵에잖아 롱고에들이 총알스 남다나가 요아레스
어디
하고 마서
그것은
그것은 제가 정말 전부 와 병원에 따와 총 아니 군디 소마고 초에나 가라 셰라니 무슨 가라 셰라니 비트에 병원에 따와 들래 냐바샤나니 아니 띵이잖아 마친제 제지치니 아니 초초와다 마젠바 군디 소마 조디 가나야 띵이잖아 전에 띵이잖아 롱거 아들이 총알에스
롱거 봐
띵이잖아 야시 띵이잖아 가서 냠샤래 라네 세나시 띵이잖아 당거 같은데 구마시고 같은데 총알에스
구마시
냠샤래 야 당스 띵이잖아 냠바샤바들라 야 장스 미싱기
So this what happened, or one occasion that this happened is that there was a large assembly of Sangha, and in that assembly they were reciting the Heart Sutra, and Je Rinpoche himself, Je Tsongkhapa himself, by meditating on that. This view, which was held by earlier Tibetan scholars, he was single-pointedly concentrated upon that kind of view, and so he was absorbed in meditative absorption with that view as the object, and so he was so focused on that and absorbed in that after the assembly had dispersed, all the other sanghas had left, but he was still sitting there, and somebody had to come and wake him up, get him to rise from that.
Yeah, what Tendriki, Tawa Chung already, and it's Jambayana, and it's Jerimbochi Chumbi, the Pengami Tawa Chung, I think it, Tawa Chung, and it. 타랑 관계 따와래서 간디 쉬가나 지지 잠배야 간디 쉬니 아니 지지 잠배 때 타랑 관계가 따와 많이 스가나래
타랑 관계
안주바당 안주바 관계가 따와 말해.
So then he once that happened, he realized that there might be some problem with his view, and so he went and he asked the Jetsun, the Lord Manjughosha, another name for Manjushri, and he asked the Lord Manjughosha. He said, "Is this view that I have, is that correct? Is this the right view?" And the Lord Manjughosha said, "No, that's not the view." I think he asked. The Lord Manjughosha, is this view that I have, is it a prasangika view or is it a swatantrika view? Is it the view of the consequentialist type of Madhyamika, or is it the view of the autonomous school of Madhyamika? And the Lord Manjughosha said to him, it's not the view of either the consequentialists or the autonomists.
오인자 다 오나서 따와 타도 또와 그탑 아니 수로 나가시요 간라 아니 탑 칸에 공부를 해서 아니 샤라 초소 드바종 하단 라마 예매도 제면에 소와데 아니 녀네 슝루라 제바당 아니 민남 좀봐 아니 제나 아니 남신에 떠봐지 용스가 나래
So, la yanker sumananti.
하고서 다와 또비 탑 다와 타랑 그 다와 가면 아니 삼이 다와 달라도 또바 그탑 나로나 시가나 아니 가르쳐 말에서나 샬라 소소 드바종 돈이 또 비치도 삼이 다와 또 그 소사 집중 고그레스 그러나
So, Shala, Hotu.
조대 민남 정화다 사다리면 샬라 자중산하지
Jajung.
하고에
So, like sort of on the side. Yeah.
샬라 소소 드바종 하다 라마 예매도 전에 아니 소왔다 아니 가소래 녀네 민남 정화당 아니 슝루를 제바 아니 다 숨질 치고 그래. 스탠드 전에 남신에 또 봐줘 그래.
Nyelin
민남 정화.
Minam
삼회 따와 민남 정화.
경원당
삼회 따와 민남 정화.
사만타와기 Minam 경원당 당.
됐네.
tamam.
삼회 따와 민남 정화당 아니 슝루 삼회 때문에 슝루 된들 잡아.
So then he asked, Je Tsongaba asked the Lord Manjugosha, he said, then how is it that, what's the method for developing this kind of profound view? What's the best method for doing this? And he said that sort of on the side one should, or in addition, one should engage in the accumulation of merit and the purification of misdeeds, of bad kinds of conduct, bad deeds. And then in addition to that, the sort of principal practice for as method for developing this kind of profound view of emptiness is to pray to the guru who is inseparable from the deity, and then preserve the observation, maintain your observation of the view, and then on top of that, engage in a great deal of investigation of the scripture, of the texts, which engage in a lot of investigation and analysis of the texts that teach this profound emptiness.
근데 자네들이 조사되잖아, 제. 오가 주는 조사되잖아. 아니 따위 민남 땅나지 가라더니 따와 충니. 그러 따와 남다 충체. 아니 좀 된데라 땡주스 비고네 떠봤대. 이 지진 제배양 그 틀라든데 따와 충해데 술루만데 집에 람도야. 나와 마도 엄바 떠봐요. 연전 초지 매매 두매장 배장 떠버면 주 내더니 장고라매 친지 내 통에 소에 다 되지긴 말이야. 야, 내 생긴 거다. 봐. 하고서. 망차서 안 됐어.
So then he in order to purify, to accumulate merit and purify misdeeds, he went to the hot springs at Oka. The hot springs at Oka. He went there to perform, to practice, and then
he
engaged in
장바다 때네 아니 지진 전배한 그 투지 친라서 사당 지진 전배에 예매들 소왔다 발라 때네 아니 따와 투니 아니 단데도 봤어 아
So he went there and engaged in a great deal of purification of negative actions, a great deal of accumulation of merit for the purpose of giving rise to the view of giving rise to this view, and then he also he preserved or maintained his observation of the view. He had the view as his sort of meditative object, and so he maintained that while he was doing these things. And then by Jason Jumping he prayed to the Guru as inseparable from Manjushri, and by doing that, he was able to give rise to the view, and out of that, then he wrote the praise to dependent origination, that special text.
아니 평화마 개와대다게 마도와데 아니 주진 제매 그 티라니네 사모 오미다와 통 소야데 슌루만데 리비 람도야 아와마데 엄바 또바이 연대 초지 매매 투매장 아니 배자 또바만 주비 네데 아니 장고라마 주진 제매양 그 티라데네 아니 또송 송아데 지게데
So that's why at the end of the Essence of Good Explanations, it says it's from the kindness of Manjushri that and by all of the effort that I made to understand this, that I've been able to give rise to an understanding of this profound path, which was not understood. What was not understood by earlier masters, even though they were intelligent and they put in a lot of effort to being able to understand it. Those earlier masters, Tibetan masters and so forth, were not able to comprehend this. So it was due to the kindness of Manjushri that I was able to understand this.
그래서 오데라 나와 내용은 레셰 여가지 로미군디 차랍 치비지 상제 장지 때문에 루통네 루루루상做 미지소 아니 나와기 내 반년 나와 차비 루루 광대 기타 와신도 자비 레셰라 때네 아니 루루지 광바 상제 장지 자와 기타 와신도 아니 통중스 나와 레숑 여기 나와랑 레셰 여가지 로미군디 차랍 치비치리스 군다기 레셰기 안에 차데 라도 치비치리스 나외 루루루상 做 미지소 하고선 나와랑 레셰 여가지 로미군디 차랍 치비치리스 완전 나와타비라 레셰라 때네 아니 루루기 슌루 대다 그 군디 차데 레바르 체데 다발 아니 체장 체수대 가르래서나 아니 로베 상제 장지 루루 공바 치다와 시도 자와나시 통성서 거래
So then he wrote at the beginning of the Essence of Good Explanations that how can I say kumundu salsana
no usual yeah the uni wa te tanda de lesenimbo dubi lesenimbo le seda son betende tende de bala panden de ve lesechi yoga triwa sacha la mitri to da gine masto se panden de ve lesechi yoga triwa sacha ba la mitri to me da gine li tende de bana to ga 자.
Oh.
라 반대다위 레셰지 단지도 받는 레셰님보 체대라든지 저와리 대제바 레셰님보랑 장을 레셰님보나 강세 다와라모 레셰여가 노미군디 사람 치비 산제장지 템벨 루통나 누르르산 수미지소세 요래다 다 디제 주카이나 유샤죠 다 레셰님보 중앙 단지도 받는 반대다위 레셰지 여가 청와 사체바 땀 산제장지 사와체바 라미티지 통위체리 지지전배 양지 아니 맹아라 때는 통화지 아니 다기는 아서 톱성하기 아니 일 가서 가서 태송 송가리 아 가서래 천진그 저외 동화디 아니 가서 태송 송가리
So it's then at the beginning of the lecture in Yingpo, it says that the field of the lotuses of my mind has been opened by the light of the moon. Here, the moon refers to Chandrakirti. Chandra means moon. So that moon has opened the lotus of my mind. And by that happening, by my intellect being opened by that, I was able to understand the intention, the meaning of the teaching that was taught by the Master Nagarjuna, just as it was explained by Buddhapalita in his commentary on the Master Nagarjuna's basic verses on wisdom. So then he says that so this is due to the kindness of the Guru that I was able to see this properly.
Oh yeah, 인자다 동반이 세디 레라오지 도야 가보시라래디 이나에다 가라 퇴섬시에 개천부 되지래와.
So this emptiness, then, it's not easy to understand it. It's not something that will get it easily, but by its making effort at hearing it and thinking about it is very beneficial.
Oh yeah, then 사무 동반이 투수 치발라 때네. then 누르단 다와 차바 누르고 공 연리되서 공바 치다와 신도 누르고 짜와테 아니 산제잔단 다와 차베 치다 짜와 신도 아니 땡라 파바기 레셰 땡다잔 차와 아니 데 자와시르기 뜨진 자시 뜨진 다와 차바기 오마주비 아니 오마주비 주주사에 메롱 아니 남배 춥다시기 아니 순럽게 장애 제조 아니 레셰님보 아니 가소래 라빈 상동 치중 어다 대자가 장원나마 정화집에 따위나 땜바기 배 싸웠던 관계 미쳐바나시 땜게 순럽 다 된조인 바래.
So as far as the teachings that the Lord Tsongkhapa has given to us for understanding this profound teaching on emptiness, which enable us to understand the teachings of Chandrakirti and therefore to be able to understand how Arya Nagarjuna, the Master Nagarjuna, teaches emptiness. These are given in the commentary on the introduction to the middle way, which is called clarification of the thought. And this text here, the great commentary on the basic wisdom of Nagarjuna, Arya Nagarjuna. So then there's also the greater and the more abbreviated instructions on insight, which are found in the two stages of the path text, the larger stages of the path and the intermediate-sized stages of the path text.
아니 송라지 제제 튼지 제제 치기 장년다 제제 튼지 장의 치조 좀더 소스 되바 나신 아니 나마나마 총아 전에 탈을 아니 루루불로 단주로 땡라 장의진을 땡라 배를 현님 보체 다 도시 주인 말에 도저라 좀라
Then there's also the essence of good explanations, in which J. Rinpoche presents the teachings which are of provisional meaning, as well and which are to be explained in a different fashion, and then the teachings of definitive meaning, which are to be accepted as taught, and those are explained in terms of how this teaching is understood by other systems of Buddhist philosophy, and then based upon that, by working through the way in which it is presented in the other schools of Buddhist philosophy, when it arrives at finally the final intention of the Buddha through that.
근데 인자다 나란조데 가서래 중천부 된데라 장군라마 정화지 중된데라 퇴섬 치르셔가니 빼 메시바 가와상보 다된다디 오라마 퇴안하시 소놈 충의 치에달라 태손사와 민주대 태손사와 잠이자 스버 주와셔 된다 오라마 퇴그래 소놈 충의 사모동반이고 뒤라 태손자마사 그 말이스 아니 태손사와 잠이자 아니 코와 아니 수월 쳐봐 코와라是吧 태송아 나신 전에 당가랑도 태송 지지해야 돼 빼면서 가와서 버렸으나
So therefore we're extremely fortunate. We have an incredible a really good fortune to have the opportunity to hear and to think about this kind of teaching on the profound emptiness. It's something that's extremely rare and precious. And this is mentioned also before that it said that people who don't have much merit will not have an opportunity to even hear these kinds of instructions, this kind of teaching. And by hearing it, however, just hearing it alone and having some kind of uncertainty about it, thinking, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, that kind of thing will itself cause samsara to be kind of weakened and to become almost like tattered.
Oh yeah, that 가상 쇼는 저긴다. that 가상데 숨자 주미 직도와 숨자 주미 직다. that 가상 얘게 도시 시와인바 아세레. 그러바出去 동아다 남지 담바 송과 꾸도 담바 셰싱. 죄죄다 세월라서 마 칭찬은 다 대한 태양 시카시 준바르 텐도 용수 잖아. 밀로비 태인바 남바 쪼거외. 시 다 시카시 베나 칸사다고 풍바다고 시카시 다 준바인바 투 준바르 텐도 용수 잖아. 루바데 드바라 가서 시와인바 안주다 내서 믿어봐 드바. 용수 가서 준바르 텐도 용수 잖아. 세가 루 텐도 녀나. 밀루 텐인바데 남바 째고래. 밀루 텐 밀루와데 담발라체. 밀루와 댐비 텐인바 남바 째고외. 루 밀루니니 펜준 빵데 내베 온가래. 펜준 빵데레 세가나 직 남제 기두가나 직세 용수 째고외. 직세 용수 직 남자잖아 직세 용수 째고와. 아니 루와다 밀루와 가야 마인바기 아니 풍숨 제자시 매와. 그러나 어디인자 편집반도 나가 가와래.
So then we've gone through the beginning of this third section, which starts on top of 301 of the Tibetan text, and there's a discussion of the commentary from the 60 verses on reasoning, and also from the auto commentary on the introduction to the middle way, and also from the clear words. And then this is explained further as follows, that moreover, any kind of thing which is positively determined to be a fictitious, deceptive object. Fictitious or deceptive object means one which is obscuring, in nature. And if it's positively determined to be that sort of a thing, then it's necessarily the case that it's excluded, or it's excluded from being an object which is undeceptive or true or real, undeceptive object. Because that's the case, being deceptive and non-deceptive are direct contradictories. That means that if something is determined to be one way, it excludes it being the other way. And the contrary of that is true also, that if something is determined to be the other way, it necessarily cannot be the opposite way. So this is called a direct contradictory, two things which exclude a middle sort of position.
오야 대다인바 니셰자 탐제라 편주 방의 추지 캡지도 주배 세가나 달루 밀루데 셰자 탐제 그때도 온가래. 좋아 시카사 그때도 온가. 본비 그때도 온가. 돈이 그때도 온가. 오 셰자 탐제 그때도 아니 편주 방비 주지 캡지도 주배 풍보순바 도바 이노 세네가나 풍보순바데 간사 루와다 밀루와 카야 마인바기 아니 체지 와레베스나 제메와 이자 풍보순바 도바 이노.
That being so, then since that's the case, all phenomena, all objects of knowledge, this dichotomy of being either deceptive or non-deceptive is something which acts as pervading all objects of knowledge, excluding any other alternative. So here, anything that's an object of knowledge, anything that exists, is either deceptive or non-deceptive, whether one is speaking of the aggregates or one is speaking of emptiness. Regardless, all objects of knowledge are included or encompassed by this dichotomy. And because that's the case, a third alternative of something being neither deceptive nor non-deceptive, that third alternative is averted or excluded.
오야 대지 셰샤라 담바니스 장내와 셰와 차오 다 루와다 밀루와 카야 마인바기 셰지 메바인장 셰샤지 메바인다 셰샤라 담바니스 장내와레 그러나 대양 편지 남제 저희가 똥바니기 띵도 가르나바체게라 줌바나바체 담바용제라 투 돈이 마인바기 군저부 셰 그티디 띵도 줌바용제라 투
So therefore, all objects of knowledge are comprised within the two truths, are included within are definitely counted as existing within the two truths. So if we take, for example,
다 덴반 용제라 투네 준바이 남제라 그네 덴바 용제 투바라 돈이 덴바라 와 돈이 덴바이 덴바 마투스라인 바 돈이 밀루와인 돈이 덴바인.
So if we say emptiness is true or real or non-deceptive, what that's saying is that if we take emptiness as sort of the basis of predication here, then it has to be either true or real or fictitious, true or false, deceptive or non-deceptive. And so emptiness is it's excluded from being deceptive or being false or fictitious. and therefore it's positively determined to be true, real, and non-deceptive.
是吧？而且태양 물고양다 전바 통화이 오년이 전바 통 세바기 오마주비 치대기 대니고 오땡고 아레스. 와 대니고 오 대니고 천이 조수 대니고 안에 장에 들고 아레스. 와다 대니고 천이데 루스레 와 다다디 물고양다 전바 오년 오세 가나 타도 지지기 리시기 녀든 전단대비 천이 타녀 지지기 체면 녀든 군조대비 천이 시작을 와 예자 타도 지지기 체면 녀든 타녀 지지기 체면이 녀든 니 아니 가서를 내니 천이 자도 가나 타녀 지지기 체면 녀든 당 타도 지지기 체면 녀든 많이 가양 많이 밖에 취지면 아래 So,
the text, or there's a quotation here that says, all things obtain their two sorts of natures, or
양다 전바 통화인 세가 군지 통도 양다비 통위 녀된지다 전바 통위 아니 녀된지 니니 요아래 양다비 통화전다 타도 지비리시 전바 통화전 다녀지기 참아
다녀지기 참아
So all things obtain or are held as having two natures by being seen correct through a correct kind of vision or a false fictitious kind of vision. Here, this is referring to the two truths are ascertained through two types of understanding.
So the object which is found by valid cognition, which is investigating the final nature of things, that is the definition of ultimate truth. Whereas an object which is found by a valid cognition, which is investigating conventionalities, conventional things, is the definition of a phenomenal truth. And since here there's no object at all which is neither found, which is not found by either the valid cognition, which is investigating the ultimate final nature of things, or found by the valid cognition, which is investigating the conventional things. So, since all objects all things that are knowable are found either by one of those two kinds of valid cognition, then the two truths are definitely enumerated as being two.
아니 타도 지지그 체면 녀대 되는데 비찬이 따다 주고 하래. 와 타도지 체면 녀된 세대 타도 지지그 체면 유인 받담지 미셔 봐. 유지 쪼직다. 와 타냐 지지그 체면 녀된 세대 타냐 지지그 체면 유인 받담지 마셔 봐. 타냐 지지그 체면 유지 쪼이나 안 따다 샤 주고 하래. 와
So here we have to qualify in order to have the two truths be defined precisely. We have to say that in terms of the object which is found in both cases, we have to take it as the principal object which is found by those two kinds of valid cognition, so that the principal object which is found by the valid cognition which is investigating the final nature of things, that is exactly fits with ultimate truth, and the object which is the principal object which is found by the valid cognition which is investigated the conventional fits precisely with phenomenal truth.
다 타두지 그 체면 뉴든 세대 타두지 그 체면 또 받더라샤네. 타두지 그 체면 또나 안에 타두지 그 체면 뉴든 타녀지 그 체면 뉴든 다 또나 타녀지 그 체면 뉴든 다 대샤주 가나 최탐제 타두지 그 체면 뉴든다 타녀지 그 체면 뉴든 이가래 자고아래. 와 대인단 타두지 체면 뉴든을 전한 내마에 배쳐면 아래. 또 받잖아 샤나.
또 받잖아 샤나.
타주지 그 체면 또 받잖아. 타주지 그 체면 뉴든 타녀지 그 체면 뉴든세 타녀지 그 체면 또 받잖아. 다 배전나 뭐 샤샤가 돼.
So we have to qualify here it that way, because if we take the object which is found here as referring to a simple an object which is comprehended by those kinds of valid cognition, if we say that, then a problem arises in that the two truths will become confused. Here, so we can't say that 단위 주식이 때문에 뉴든
뉴든스의 단위 주식이 때문에 또 받잖아. 단위 주식이 때문에 뉴든. 타두 주식이 때문에 또 받잖아. 타두 주식이 때문에 뉴든. 샤기요래.
So some people present it that way, and saying that the object which is found by the valid cognition investigating the ultimate is simply the object as understood by that kind of valid cognition, and similarly with respect to the valid cognition investigating the conventional, they say it's the object found by that is simply the object understood by that.
아니 타녀주지 그 체면 뉴든 잠라 군저 대방에 배차와 매바 인장 망체의 쇼장 가르쳐 버서나 타두주지 그 체면 뉴든 강식이라 타두주지 그 참아대 유대라 타두주지 그 참아 쏘나 된다 된바 타녀주지 그 체면 뉴든데 유대라 타녀주지 그 참아 쏘나 군저 된바 다 대샤고래 이 상제 그 지단들라 상제 그 친주 마두 왕도 체위 군도 대바라 단대비 천이 지당 상제 그 친주 뉘 왕도 체위 군도 대바라 단대비 천이 니샤고아래 그러와 그러와 단다 니샤바데 이나 디타 가소래 도 샤고아래 대하고서 다두지 그 체면에 대한 임바체 왜나 돈이 도비 로디 아니 타주지 그 세면에 대체 다 돈이 또 빌로디 요 동반이라 타주지 그 세마 소마레 타주지스라 돈이 요 동반이 돈이 타주 인당 타주지 그 세마 소마레 와 그래서 어데라 타주지 세면에 대한 강시라 타주지 그 세마디 골체라 타주지 그 세마 소나 된다 된바
So here one has to make this qualification and distinction because, or the two ways of presenting this are done from the point of view of whether or not one is combining the objects that are known by omniscience, whether one is combining conventional truth and ultimate truth, or one is distinguishing them. So the way to distinguish them is by specifying that the object which is found, understood by the valid cognition which is investigating the ultimate is the object to which the 타둑주제기쯤에
이든 강식라
간시라
타둑주제기 참아대 최라 타둑주제기 참아서와
그라
저 돈이 배나 돈이 도비 로디나 돈이 도비 로디 돈이데 타둑주제기 참아 여된체 그러와 여된 강식체 다 돈이 도비 참아대 돈이라 최선의 돈이라 타둑주제기 참아서와
So here, by specifying that it's the principal object that is found by the a valid cognition investigating the ultimate, it's what it is saying is that it's that valid cognition investigating the ultimate is going to or arriving at the object that it's going towards. And that object here would be emptiness. So that object, insofar as that valid cognition investigating the ultimate arrives at that object, then that is the principal object of that valid cognition investigating the ultimate.
천일이 시작을 타두제지 참여 여든 강식라 아니 타두제 참여 여든 강 타두제지 참아대 라니라 타두제지 참아송와 그러와 다 타녀제지 참여 여든 강식라 타녀제지 참아대 라니라 아니 타녀제지 참아송와 시군조 강 이나야 군조대 군조 강다 강이나 고 타녀제지 참여 여든 다 군조 되니 또비 참아대 군조 랑랑라 타녀지지 그 참아송와
군조 랑랑
군조 랑라 타녀지지 그 참아송.
So the same thing applies then to phenomenal things, whatever phenomenal things there are. Here, the valid cognition, which is investigating conventions, conventional things, is it's what it's arriving at is a conventional thing, a phenomenal thing. And that's the 타니주지기 세면
타녀지지 참아대 라니라 타녀지지 참아송와 라니라 타녀지지 참아송와 라니 타녀지 참아 라니 타녀버려 군조 된 말아와 라니 또비 참아송와인데 라니 안에 타녀지지 참아송와.
So this valid cognition investigating conventions arrives at something which is itself a convention, a phenomenal thing. So it arriving at that is sort of the definition. That thing which is arrived at is the definition of a phenomenal truth.
Oh yeah, that then you Jordan Mambodua. Ming Mang Churches that Tishago, and I do jig time you didn't say it, shall chick chat. Shall chick down le chiba lego at it. Then young Junju Gaso, Annie, Case, Rangosum Dobe, Musun Tame, Nina Nubuconacha, and Tendam Loy, Juyumi, Loni Kunzo Yimba de Segala, Rangosum Dobe, Musun Tamaki. Nina Nubicona Toba Chavatella, Tandam Tempa. Rangosum Dobe, Musun Sama, Nina the Jayucona Toba Chavatella, Kunzo Tempa, Cheni, Jujucana Tusungare.
There are multiple ways of presenting this, the enumeration of the two truths. That's one way of doing it that we've given above. There's another way of doing it, which is presented in the introduction to the Bodhisattva's conduct, Bodhicharya Avatara. And in that, it's presented that
랑 모습 또 전담로이 주임이 논이 군조 담바에 세대가 랑 모습도 또비 모습 참아 되기 아니 니는 너비고네 또 받아봐 전담 담바체 랑 모습 또비 모습 참아 되기 니는 제유고네 또 받아봐 돼 군조 담바.
So in that, it's said that Dundam Loyi Chuyumin.
전담 로이 주임을 군조서 받대 전담 담바대 로 군조와 이나의 제로 군조 용모순 그저 말해.
So there's a verse in the introduction to the Bodhisattva's conduct, which says that the ultimate is not the domain or the within the range of cognition and what that is explained. That's explained by differentiating between cognition, which has a perceptual cognition, within which dual appearance has disappeared. So within that sort of cognition, a perception in which dual appearance has disappeared, then the object appearing within that is ultimate truth, whereas a direct perceptual cognition in which there is dual appearance is the object within that context is defined as a phenomenal truth.
전담로 주임이 논이 군조 담바 논이 군조 임바데세 니나다 제유 로 군조비 주요 강연 바데 군조 담바레
니나다 제비 주요 강연 바데
논이 군조 임바여 세데 니나다 제비 로이 아니 주요 강연 바데 군조 담바레.
So where it says that mind, I should say cognition is phenomenal, and so here what's that saying is that a mind or cognition which has this dual appearance within it is phenomenal, and the domain of that or the field of activity of that is the phenomenal truth.
대의자 가상 안조 전단대 방고스 돈용 모습도 또비 로텔라 냠샤 나밤에도 비 이시데라 군조가 나와요 말에 아니 된루가 나와요 말에 유당 유제비 타다요 말에 나와 춘보도 누비고네 돈이 또바 인상 돈이데 랑 모습도 또비 모습데라 돈용 모습도 비 이시지 차샤네 디 돈이 또디 가나 군조가 나와 된루가 나와 유당 유제비 타다 순보도 나와도 누비고네 또바샤와 인상 전단담바 시거래.
So that's why as we were explaining yesterday, within a non-conceptual direct realization of emptiness, within that the three kinds of appearances of So because this is a perceptual valid cognition, the three types of appearance have disappeared within it. So appearance of things kunzobe nawa ninangtang. So within that that kind of perceptual cognition of emptiness, there's no appearance of anything phenomenal. There's no appearance of something being established as real. No grasping, no appearance of grasping at things as real, as well as no appearance of the subject and object existing separately. So those three are absent from that kind of perceptual cognition.
미다바도 모습도 분방 모습도 로다지나 되게 랑고선도 고선 참 홍방고선도 별로디 품바까지 또 거서 니나네 제유건도 거서 콜라 군족은 나와요 아래 연주가 나와요 아래 되게 여차를 유자 유전 타자면 나와요 유면 나줘요 아래.
So, on the other hand, for conventional valid cognitions which are investigating conventionalities, conventional things, then for that kind of perception, that kind of cognition, there is all three kinds of those appearances can appear. The appearance of phenomenal things is necessarily there. The appearance of grasping at things as real can be there, and la sumka yores
sumka yores 군족은 나와당 된주가 나와요 아래.
된주가 나와요.
여기다 유전 타자면 나와 유면 나줘요.
So then the appearance of phenomenal things exists for that kind of cognition. The appearance of things as being established as real can appear for that cognition. And then as far as things, the perceiving subject and the perceived object being separate, there are cases in which that appears and other cases in which that does not appear.
오야, 단니와 대니 미시나, 담바니 마시나 아니 소랍지 대니 미시바. 대니 산제지 최대비 수 담바니라 내와 임바탕 산제 그 최소 간제지 송바데 안에 담바니에 뒤와래. 아니 간다 담바 대니지 있으나 간다 주 간다 군조지 담바다 된다비 담바 대니지 남의 남바 미시바 대다 산제 담바니 삼미 된 산제 그 담바기 안에 삼미 태권한지나 남바 시그 말에 스타 잡아진 신사래.
So this leads into the next section, number 2 here, which says that if one doesn't understand the two truths, one doesn't understand the reality of the scriptures or the teachings. And it says that the introduction to this says that the Buddha, the Dharma, which was taught by the way in which, Sangye Namgi Chudin Betsu, the way in which the Dharma is taught by the Buddhas is based on the two truths. That's the introduction. And then the root text verse says, one who doesn't know how to discern those two truths, that such persons do not understand, do not discern the profound reality of the teaching of the Buddhas.
Oh yeah. 대화라 간다 주 간다 군조 담바단 전담 담바 니지 안에 남바 야와 다들 시원하자 타두지지 참에 그 예된 거 쪼와라 안에 가서라 전담 담바단 타녀지지 그 참에 예된 거 쪼와라 군조 담바 샤야기 대니그 남바 예와데 아르샤바다 미셔바 대다기 산제기 담바세데 간데질라서 그래 잘못된 그 대권하니 아니 시그 말이 싫어 대다기 산제기 담바네 잘못된 그 대권하니 남바 미셔서.
So it says here, whoever doesn't understand how to discern the distinctions between the two truths being phenomenal truth and ultimate truth, phenomenal truth being the principal object which is found, ascertained by the valid cognition investigating that which is conventional. And then the ultimate truth being the principal object which is found by the valid cognition which is investigating the final nature of things. So someone who doesn't know how, who is unable to discern the differentiation of those two truths as was previously explained, such persons do not know how to discern, do not understand or know how to discern the teaching of the Buddhas, which here is the reality of the profound dependent origination.
다 대실을 했어요. 삼위 특권하님 미시와 대실. 아니 야외 땜비 특권아 니 시와 되나? 잘못하면 이 특권아 니 시와 되나? 때내 깨와당 규제를 때내 깨와당 뒤제 중오이나 규제를 때내 깨와당 다 뒤제 중오이는 친한 그 취업 간지지 이나양 때내 따비 是吧？有些情况呢，俺那举荐了带来就有工作，但嘛因比前两去工作要看人呢，带来大有工作，啊，恰恰那时候操把了带来大有工作吧，去打瓦打去那个打瓦那打瓦去那个去那个打瓦那样，去那个打瓦嘛因把那行，工作为去太大，点住就那样。 点把马出巴了，点住就那样，点把马出巴了，俺呢点把马出巴，那个怎么的了？恰恰他们就太吧，是吧？恰恰他们就太吧的，啊。点把出巴，去那都大于苏南那去那都大没有是吧？我在那些，之前那做了工作。 带来给我的带来的工作那做法太大，让给参与出完那样，让给参与马主把印章，让给参与马主把的来拆解他们就对吧？
So therefore, if one wishes to understand the reality of the teaching of the Buddhas, here again, this reality of the teaching of the Buddhas refers to the profound dependent origination. Then it's necessary that one understand that things being dependently arising, meaning here is with reference to things, phenomena that arise due to causes and conditions. All of those sorts of phenomena that are produced from causes and conditions arise in dependence on those causes and conditions. And then also dependently designated phenomenal things. Dependently designated refers to all phenomena, not only those which are caused or produced from causes and conditions, but other phenomena as well, which aren't so caused. All of those are dependently designated. So all of those phenomenal things appear like a moon in the water. A moon in the water. The moon that appears in the water, although it can appear as a real moon, it's not an actual moon. It's just a reflection of the moon appearing in the water. So that reflection or that moon in the water doesn't exist as it appears. Similarly, all phenomenal things, they appear to be exist as established by means of their own intrinsic identity, whereas in truth, they are not established by means of their own intrinsic identity. And so these phenomenal things appear as if they were established as being real, when in reality they are not established as real. And yet these phenomenal things are able to function as agents. All of them are able to engage or function as agents, and the actions of agents, and all of that kind of functioning of agents and actions is acceptable, is appropriate and justifiable.
Yeah. 차지탐지 태바당세 균전 대니기 때내 깨와당 때내 다비 균전 대니기 때내 다바이비 균전 대니기 군조의 최대다 때내 다바당 가서 때내 깨와다 때내 다비 군전 대니지 아니 유전에 깨와 임배 랑 천이지 마주 때내 다바 인장 랑 천이지 마주바 인장 랑 천이지 예비 예타다 차와 예비타 랑 천이지 마주장 아니 유전에 깨와 인장 때내 매바 마임바 매비타다 차와 다적타니 是吧？是什么？大家看你这个呢？哦，以前呢，给我他带来大约军站了带呢，工作为缺德的，让个参议局也把马主把到话一张，让个参议局也把他当茶吧，是吧？工作为缺德的带来大把咱们，对这个缺德的带来给我一张。 让个参议员马主但带来没个话，没被他当茶了。人家谈你旁边听他们的，听他们说笑话瞧。
So the sentence concludes by saying, therefore, one ought to, or one needs to understand the way of the ultimate, which has gotten rid of the two extremes of existence, the extreme of existence and the extreme of total non-existence. So this is explained that because of those reasons, that is, because they are dependently, they dependently arise or are dependently designated, those reasons establish that that they are free from the two extremes of existing by means of their own essence.
ni pampe tani duwa ta che tani wa
ranking ngo yupe ta tang
rang ngo yo ba de chawa de rang ngo yo ba tan chawa yin da rang chen chuom chuwa tan chawa mo rang ngo yo ba da chawa da pe ta tan cha wa kun zo che te yang kun zo je rang chen ji chuwa tan cha yang dan nan da ba zhe yin be me be ta tan cha.
So these phenomena, all these phenomenal things that arise dependently and that are dependently designated, all of those are because of those reasons, because they arise dependently. For that, this is referring to constructed things that are produced through causes and conditions, and or other things. They and all other things are dependently designated. Because of those reasons, that they are dependently arising and dependently designated, they are free from from the extreme of existing by means of their own essence. Here, this refers to existing by means of their own intrinsic identity. Because they arise dependently, or because they're dependently designated, they don't exist by means of intrinsic identity or by means of their own their own essence. So that clears away the extreme of existence. These phenomenal things don't have that sort of extreme existence. And then because deni kewatan deni takbe kunzobichu chawa tamche tepa yinchang di me
자제 태바 야 인바 때는 다요 군조 와데 취 다와 다르스나 나와 라서 취난도 다와 나자 취난도 다와 매바 나신 군조 와다다 랑게 천이지 주와 나양 랑게 천이지 마주바들라 자제 탐제 태바 이 자주 진짜바 와
deni me
때는 깨와서 뒤져중고 있나 때는 깨와체 그봐 대마인 바가 지난 공고 간저 있나 때는 다바점 그봐当然大把这印章然后呢嘛主把这事是吧然后呢就那闲了马拉不是闲了让来马来吧有个闲了让来是吧
So again, the fact that phenomenal things are arise in dependence if they're constructed or caused by causes and conditions, and the fact that they and all other phenomenal things are dependently designated, that entails that they are like a moon in water, that they're devoid of having the intrinsic identity that that can appear to exist within them, and yet those phenomenal things, all of them are able to engage in, to function as agents and actions. That is all established and acceptable.
为什么？太你爸的就说啊，
Didn't maybe ta.
但是没人讲呢，去那个缺德的，但是没办法的，但是或者那个刚才理解情我人呢，理解来接话的，天马人把人章多半大什么都要把人章，但是没办法的，是吧？但是大把东西要把有可能没办法当差，但是没办法当差，是吧？让个参议机出来当差话人章，大半他当差，
So because these things, all of these phenomenal things, are suitable to function as agents and actions and such, because they dependently arise and because they're dependently designated, then that clears away the extreme of them being non-existent, completely non-existent. So they don't exist by means of their own intrinsic identity. If they did, then you would fall into the extreme of existence, that sort of extreme. But because they do exist dependently, they arise dependently, and they're dependently designated and function, therefore they're not completely non-existent.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. 다 숨바 대니 때문에 거와되라. 숨바 대니 때문에 거와되라. 카데스. 다 돈이 전담바 무슨 돈이라 체. 전담바 돈바니. 돈바니 암 전담바 저와 창단전 저와 탐대단 차위 저와단 차위 라신이나. 돈이 저와 탐대단 차위 라신레스. 오나 대니 때문에 라메스. 다 돈이 코나 때문에 초그레. 돈이 때문에 초그레. 풍보당 감당 계제당 군조 댐바당 댄데라 소위 군조가 댐바 그 거와 요 말이 지시차 대화나니 많이 바니세 대화나니 많이 바니 대니 많이 바니 빵와차와 이나 빵와차와 댐바라 거와 메도세나 다디 가지고 들라나.
So then this leads into the third topic here, the necessity for teaching the two truths. And here, someone else might say, if that's the case, or if it is the case that the ultimate is the nature which is free from elaboration, then it's suitable to teach that. It would be suitable to teach that reality. But what's the point of teaching phenomenal things such as the aggregates, the elements, the cognitive spheres, the four noble truths, four Arya realities, dependent origination, etc. What's the point of teaching those? Since those are not reality, there's something, and they're therefore something to be gotten rid of. And teaching something that is to be gotten rid of, there's no purpose in that. There's no purpose in doing that. One might say that.
tenyi pangbani, tenyi mayinbani pangwa chawa yinpa, pangwa chawa tenpala gowa medo sere, tenyi mayin sere, te kwana nya mayinpa.
So where it says it's not reality, that meaning it's not suchness or not reality. So therefore it's something to be gotten rid of. It's not the ultimate, and therefore what's the point? What's the need of teaching something to be gotten rid of?
태권하니 마인신도 테르나요 군도 주와남 빵와차와 댐메지스 그러와 태권하니 마인 바타자 빵와차와 말아봐 그러와 빵와차 태권하니 마인신도 태권한 나와서나 인진 태권나 그러와 대화나 마연신도 대나무 군조 추이가 된정도 아니 방화 쳐봐 임바된 damages.
So then the reply to that is that although it is true that mistaken or erroneous sorts of things which are phenomenal, the phenomenal erroneous things which appear as being real, even though they're not real. Not being real, they appear as if they were real. Those things, erroneous forms of the phenomenal, are to be gotten rid of. That is true.
Oh yeah, 다음에 전도 샤샤는 말에 전 편의를 말 해봤어요. 전도 샤쇼야.
So we'll leave it at that.
지배 여러분이 이제 내 잠바지 산제 또